Hello guys, welcome to Project Code 5.0. In this video I'll be showing you how I made this stopwatch using HTML, CSS and JavaScript. If you are new here to Project Code 5.0, please subscribe to the channel, join the family. So let's get into the video. Firstly, we are going to create an unordered list where we are going to put our time, our hours, minutes and seconds. So I'm going to say an ordered list. I'm going to give it a class name of time lists, and then I want 3 list items. For now I'm just going to give them the ID of time. Unordered lists, give it a class name of time lists. Okay, so firstly we're going to create an unordered list where we're going to put our hours, minutes and seconds. We are unordered lists. We're going to give it a time name, a class name of time list, and then we want list items. For now I'm going to give them the ID of time, and I want 3 of these. So for the second one I'm going to give it the ID hours, the second one minutes, and then the third one seconds. The inside here I'm just going to put 000000, and as you can see right here in our console it's showing 000000. Okay, so right now I want to create a container. This container I'm going to put our 3 buttons: the start button, the stop button, and then the reset button. So I'm going to put div. I'm going to give it a class name of buttons container, and then inside this I want to have buttons. I want to have 3 of them, but I'm going to just give them the ID of start for now. And as you can see here we got our buttons, but let me just place them like this so you can understand what's going on. Okay, here we go. So right now what we gotta do next is we gotta write the start here for the start button, and then for the second one it's going to be the stop button. I'm going to give it the ID of stop, and then for the reset button I'm also going to give it an ID of reset. So as you can see we've got our 3 buttons: the start, the stop and the reset. So for our HTML we are done. Now we head over to our CSS file right here. So I already bought the colors, the X codes that I used for the background, for the colors, and the font family that I used from the stopwatch that I coded, the one which I'm doing right now. So you can go ahead and choose the same hex code as mine, or you can put any colors that you want. So firstly I just want to put a background to the body, and this background is going to affect the smaller screens and the bigger screens. So I'm just going to put a background color, should be this one, copy it from there and paste it. Oh sorry, I haven't linked my CSS file and my JavaScript file to my HTML, so I'm going to come here and say link and then write styles.css, and then for my JavaScript file here on the bottom I'm gonna write script, then in my source I'm going to write app.js. So this is the name of my JavaScript file, app.js here, and the name of my CSS file is styles.css. So you see the moment that I linked here this styles.css file, that automatically change that background color to the green which I wanted. So, and then the font family for the body, I'm going to put a Roboto and then a sans serif. So font family, got the Roboto right there. So the next thing that I'm gonna do is I'm going to create a media query. So I want my max width for the smaller screens, it's to be 800 pixels. Sorry, I want to 800 pixels. So the code which I'm writing at the moment for the smaller screens, after we are done with writing the CSS for the smaller screens and then the JavaScript, I will then write the code for the bigger screen, but there won't be much of a difference. I'm just gonna like copy that code, paste it for the bigger screen and do some changes, but you'll look into that. So right now we want to fix the border for the smaller screens, because as you could see in my on the picture of the stopwatch, all the stuff right here is here on the center of the page. So we want it to be centered from bottom up and then from side to side. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a display flex on the body, but you see this thing came here on the side, the buttons, they're on the side of the numbers. So I'm going to say flex direction column so that they will come down. And then I want to say align items, I want them to be center. I want my items to be aligned to the center of the page. And then next I want it to justify content and to be center as well. So what I've done is I aligned my items center from up to bottom, then from side to side. So I just have to give it a min height, and I'm gonna give it 100 view height. So view height is from top to bottom, 100% to be the 4 out of that width. So if the screen is 80, the 100 view height is going to be 8. If the screen height is 200, it means the view height is also going to be 200. So we are done with our body for the moment. And then next what we want to do is we want to create change the colors and the fonts and put a background color for our minutes. So firstly we're gonna have to remove those black dots in front of the numbers. So we're going to say dot time list. Time list is this, the unordered list that we have that is containing our list items. So we're gonna say time list, and then we are going to say list style. We're gonna put it as none, and as you can see that is gone. And then we're also gonna change the display here and put it as a flex, because we want our hours, minutes and seconds to be like in the same line like this. There we go. And for that we are done. And then we just gonna do the justify content. I'm going to put the space around. Okay, you don't see any much of the change because I've input the padding, the margin and the background color. So here you can see that our hours, minutes and seconds, they have the IDs hours, minutes and seconds. So I'm just gonna call upon those IDs. I'm gonna say the first one is going to be hours, second one is going to be minutes, and the third one is going to be seconds. So I want all of this to have a background color of that light green that we have right here. Button background color, time background color right here. I'm gonna copy this code and I'm gonna put it right there. So you can see the hours. I said hour here is supposed to be hours. So if we save our code, see the background color is changed. So the next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna come and change the padding so you can see the difference. So we're gonna put padding. I'm gonna put a padding of about 20 pixels. Let's see. Okay, let me put it as 30 pixels, much better. And then I want to change the font size so that our time here can get bigger, so that it's easier to see and more clear. I'm going to give it a font of 25 pixels. And then as you can see, there's not much of a difference, a separation between the hours, minutes and seconds. So we're gonna put a margin of 10 pixels so that you can see that there's a difference. And then this thing is aligned a little bit to the side, so looks like our time list has a padding of its own. Or so we're going to say padding, just gonna put it as 0 for time list so that it is centered. Then here hours and minutes, we want to put a body radius. It's the one that creates the curves, sort of like a curve here at the end, at the corners. So if it's a body radius, I'm going to give it a 15 pixels. Nice. So for our buttons, the last thing that we're gonna do is the color for our time. We want to change the color for our time, and color that we're going to use was actually this one. The button color and the time color was the same, so I'm just gonna come in, say color. Oh, that's not the one. That's the button color. Oh, it's supposed to be this one. Sorry. Yep. So this is gonna be the button color. It's saying something is missing here. 001 LLD. I'm not sure, so let me just do this. So I'm just gonna take this color, the one that we have for our background. I'm going to copy it, and then I'm just gonna use that color for the time in minutes and seconds. So that's a little bit of a change from the color that I already had. And also forgot to put a header here, stopwatch. So let's come back to our index.html. In front of the order list, we're just gonna put an h1 element, and then you're gonna give it a class name of header. Inside you can just write stopwatch like this. There it is. And then we're going to come here in our body, we say dot header, that class list that we just put there, and we're gonna change the color of the header to this one right here. Okay, there we go. So the next thing that we want to do is fix our button. As you can see, we have to put a little bit of decoration for them to look nice. So our buttons, they have the ID, start, stop and reset. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna come in, say start, and then I'm gonna put the stop, and then I'm going to put the reset. So I want to change their background color. So the background color for the button, it's supposed to be this one right here. I'm going to copy that, then I'm going to paste it right there, and then I want to put a padding so they're a little bit clear. I want to put 15 pixels up and down, and then 10 pixels to the sides right there. And as you can see, there's that blackish surrounding them. That's the border. We want to remove that, so we're gonna have to come and say body style and declare it as none. We want to put a border radius to do that curve, and for this we can put 10 pixels, and there isn't much of a spacing between the buttons, like they're too close to each other, so we're just gonna put a margin of 10 pixels. I think that's a little bit further, which is good. Okay, here we go. What else? We can change the font size so it's a little bit clearer, to enlarge it a little bit. I'm going to put 20 pixels. Oh, 20 pixels is too much. Let me put 17 pixels, because the original is supposed to be 16 pixels if I'm not mistaken. So I guess I just have to remove this, or I can change the font size. I can do this. I can put 20 pixels here for the font size, and then what I will have to do is for the padding, I'll put 10 and 20 right here like this. Much better. And then what I'm gonna do is for the color, I'm just gonna take the color that I've put for the time. I'm gonna come here and use the same color right there. Okay, looks good. Then for our CSS, that's about it. I think we are done, although I'm not sure. Button color and this time background, button color background, there's this color right here. Oh, that's the one for the background. Okay, I'm not sure what happened with this code, the time color, because I really wanted to use this code, but I don't know why it's not working, this X code. I think there should be something wrong with it, so I'm just gonna leave it as it is there. Then I'm just gonna put the one that it originally had, and we're just gonna use that. So we want to put a hover there, so that if someone hovers on top of the button, they should change color. So we're just gonna copy that and paste, put this here and say hover. Do the same for all the buttons. Okay, so we just want the background color to now become the color of the buttons. And so what we're gonna do is just we're gonna copy this color code and say color is now gonna be this. And then color is going to be this, and then the background color, we're going to use the color of the background color of the minutes and seconds, as I could not get the color which I originally used. So I'm going to use this. So if someone like it was to come and over this, the color is a little bit light, it's blinding to the eye. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come here and maybe choose a color which is a little bit dark, or just not that light to the eye. Maybe this one. Let me see. Oh, I haven't saved the file. Or last minute sec, let me just take this one, then just change the background color to the color of the minutes and seconds. So if we're to hover, so we're gonna have to change the color as well. So the color should just remain the same when someone hovers, but the background is the one which is going to change. So let's see now. Okay, looks much better. So that's it for the CSS. Let's head to our JavaScript file. So firstly, in JavaScript, we are going to declare, say, let seconds. Our seconds for now, gonna put them for 0, and then let interval, set it to null. So the interval is what is going to keep our code to keep on running, to saying 1, 2, 3, to keep adding up the seconds, the minutes, and hours. And then right here, we're gonna declare our what we call our global variables. So this one cannot be changed no matter what. So I'm saying constant and then I'm just gonna give it hours is equals to document.get element by ID. The ID that you wanna get here is the ID of the hours, minutes and seconds. So for the first one, we're just gonna put hours right here. Then that's it. Going to copy our code down, and then here we're going to come in, say minutes to element by ID. Want to get the minutes, and then here want to get the seconds, and then here we're just gonna say seconds again. So this was all our IDs here. Okay, and then nextly we want to get our start, stop and reset button. So we're going to say let start timer is equals to document dot get element by ID. The ID that you want to get is the start, so this is the ID that we are getting at the start, the stop and the reset. So you're going to copy this down. So if you want to copy down our code of the same line, you come here, you press shift out. If you're on your Windows, I'm not sure about Mac, I think it's the same thing, and then you press the down arrow key, and then you can copy your code like that. So this one, you're going to give it the name stop timer, and then the last one, sorry about that, then the last one you're going to give it the code reset timer. So you're just gonna give it reset here, going to give it the stop. So now we want to create a function that will add up the seconds, the minutes and everything. So this function, I'm going to call it STOPWATCH. So inside this function, I want the seconds to keep adding up. Every time it's run, I want it to keep adding up. So it's 1. Every time it's run, second is 0. Next time it's 1. Next time it's 2. Next time it's 3. Next time it's 4. So it will keep on updating the value. So now I'm going to write the code that will actually make the hours to show the minutes and the second. So I'm going to call this, say, let our code is equals to math.flow. We're going to say seconds divided by 3600. So this code right here, we know that in 1 hour there's 3600 seconds. So the seconds keep updating from 1, but the moment I get to 3600, if they're divided by this, they'll give us 1. Then you know we have 1 hour. So the math.flow function, what it does is it gives the integer below. So for example, if we have 5.4, it's going to give us 5. Math.flow 5.4 is going to give us 5 if we put 5.4 in here. If we were to say math.flow 9.6, it's going to give us 9. So what we're going to do here is going to write the code for our minutes. I'm just going to say minutes code, and then I'm going to do the same thing, math.flow. So for seconds, we want to say seconds minus our code multiplied by 3600, and then yeah, we want it outside there. We want our code to be divided by 60 like this. So the next one is we're going to say let seconds code is equals to math.flow. I'm going to say seconds modulus of 60. Okay, everything here looks good, I guess so. Seconds from up there, method flow. Okay, so what we're going to do here now is we want to, if we add our functions like this and then run it, it will only give us like 0, 2, 3. So we want it to be like 0, 1 if it's below 10. If it's below 10, it's 0, 2. If it's below 10, it to be 0, 2, 0, 3, 0, 4, 0, 5. If it's our hours, 0, 1, 0, 2, not just show us 1. So what we'll do is we are going to say right here our hours and minutes constant. You're going to say hours dot inner text is equals to our code. So what we're saying here is our hours dot inner text is going to change here in our HTML element to whatever that is going to be given in our code. So we're going to say hours dot inner text is equals to our code. So here we're going to say if our code is less than 10, then add 0, say 0 plus our code, or just run our code as it is. Nextly, we're going to say minutes dot inner text equals to minutes code. If it's less than 10, give us a 0 right there, plus minutes code or minutes code. So I'm going to explain this just after I'm going to write the last code for the seconds, and then I'm gonna get into detail of what I'm actually doing right now. If it's less than 10, I'm going to say plus seconds code okay. So what this code is basically saying is if our code is less than 10, so if it's less than 10, if it's true, it's going to run this code there. If it's false, it will run the last code. So if it's less than 10, it's going to add a 0 first plus our code. So if it's 1 here, our code is going to be 0, 1. If it's minutes here, if our minute is 1 minute, it's going to be 0, 1. If it's 5 minutes, 0, 5. If it's 9 minutes, 0, 9. But if it is greater than 10 now, it means this is false. This equation is false, so it will just write out our code, minutes code, which is just 10. There won't be 0, 1, 0, just gonna be 10 as it is. So lastly, what we're gonna do is we're going to create a start function, which we're going to put for that barrette for it to start calculating the seconds to start the stopwatch. So the start function is the one that will tell the computer to start counting from 1 second going up until you stop, pause, or reset. So this one function, I'm going to give it the name of start. So the start function, I'm going to say if interval return it. So if interval return, it means if the interval is already running. So for example, we start our watch, stopwatch, it's already counting up 0, 1, 2, 3, going upwards. If it's already running, you should just keep on returning it and running it. So what I'm basically trying to say is if it's running, if you click the start button and the stopwatch is already running, it will continue running. because it's already in the interval, so it will keep on running. So it means if it's 0, 1, 2 and you click the start button, it won't pause, it won't do anything, it will just continue on running. Interval, if interval is running, just return it, and it will return it and continue the process. If it is not running, we want to say interval is equals to set interval. Now it wrote a lot of things that I didn't write. We're just gonna write, if interval is running, we'll say set interval. We want to run the stopwatch every 1000 milliseconds, which is 1 second. So every 1 second, stopwatch will be running if you click the start button. So it means if stopwatch runs, it's 0, 1 seconds here, right? It means the second is now 1. So it means if the second is now 0, 2, it means it's now 2 seconds here. So if the seconds keep on adding up, now 3, 4, yet the seconds, they'll keep on adding up as well. If they reach 3600, they're divided 3600 seconds divided by 3600 seconds, it will give us the 1. So that is our start function, and we're going to create the stop function. So the stop function is, we're just gonna write our clear interval, and then we are going to set our interval to now. So the stop function here, clear interval, is it clears the interval, so it means it clears this code. So our interval is right here. Our interval is supposed to run every 1 second. So if we click stop, it will clear this 1000. It means it's no longer supposed to run every 1 second. It just stops because it doesn't know what to do. So if it's already 15 seconds, 15, 16, we press the stop button, it will remain on 16, because now the interval is it's not defined, it doesn't know what to do, it will just stop. If you click start, now the interval is back to the set interval every 1000, so it will continue up with the value of the seconds which was already stored up in this program. And then lastly, we're gonna create the function, the reset function. So what to do with the reset function is, firstly we want to call the stop function, because if we don't call the stop function, what happens is if we reset it, it will put 000, right? But then if we start again, it won't start from 000, it will start from the number of seconds which you already stopped. So we're going to call the stop function, and then our seconds, we're going to put them, seconds supposed to be equal to 0 now. And then what we want to do is our hours, seconds and minutes. So we're going to say hours dot inner text is just going to be 00. Copy down that code. We're going to do the same thing for the minutes, and then the same thing for the seconds. So if we start our function, you can see that it's not running at the moment because we haven't coded onto our code. So I'm going to come here, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm going to put event listeners. Okay, so what we want to do here is we already got our start timer here. So what we're gonna say is gonna say start timer dot add event listener. So we want to, for our start timer here, get element by this for the start, so it's for this, the start button. So start timer dot event listener click, so it's going to listen if when the button is clicked. If the button is clicked, we want it to run the start function, so we write start like this. So if the button is clicked right here, it's going to run the start function. So if we try to run it, you can see is starting, but the stop button is not stopping in the reset because we haven't added those. So we're gonna copy down this code. So here we're just gonna put the stop timer, and then you're gonna put the reset timer. So if it's clicked, we want it to do the reset, and then you want it to stop. So if we start our function right here, it's going to be running. If we press the stop button, it's going to stop. If we say start, it's going to continue running again. If we say reset 0 0, if we start again, it's going to start from 0. So that was all of the JavaScript that we needed to write. So lastly, you might have been asking about this. If we change the screen size of this, it's not going to change because our media query is for the smaller screen. So what we're gonna have to come back here and do is we're going to come to our styles.css, and then we're going to create a media query. So let me reduce this so you can see what I'm saying. This is the media query for the smaller screens. So I'm going to copy this code right here. This is the code which I took. This one, I just copied it. So I'm going to come to the bottom. I'm going to say at media screen, and then I'm just going to change this to min width. Then do this, and then the code inside here, I'm just going to take it as it is. So yeah, I'm going to copy this code as it is, but actually it's not. Sorry. Okay, like this. Yep, copy this code, then paste it for the bigger screen, save it, and then voila. But I think for the bigger screen you might want like maybe to, you know, enlarge our font size for the buttons. So we can change the font sizes here by 5, and then for the minutes and seconds you can change it also by 5, and then that's about it. We click it on the big page. So now on the big page you can see they have a function. If you have at the button, change the color, stop, start, reset. So yeah, that was all of the JavaScript and the CSS. I hope you guys like the video, and see you next time. That's it for the video. So that's how I created a stopwatch using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. If you'd like to see more of this content, please subscribe to the channel and leave a like button, and write something in the comments what I should improve on or what topic that I should do next. See you next time.